Welcome to Arcturian Philosophy with some resistance hour on Arcturian Philosophy. Now, what I would like to do is start a group. I heard this in a channeling from Cryon just today, and also I discovered I have a bit of a half-brother that I hadn't really known about. And they both said to me, "Krista, you should do what Cryon is saying." Now, I was surprised to find that he really loves Cryon, or loves reading the Bible as well. And so, because of those similarities, I heard Cryon finally. Actually, it was interesting to hear him again because of being in so many different frequency locks, I suppose you could say. It's hard for things to get through to me. He said, "Krista, you should create one of these things that I'm talking about. I'm talking about these little pockets of resistance. And you are a perfect black hole force to create this pocket of resistance that you need to have." So, what I was thinking was that in my apartment right now, which is, will not say where, but let's just say in a state that is known for magnetics right now, for magnetics and healing abilities and for their crystals. I believe what would be a good idea is for those of us who are like-minded to be able to meet. And regardless of what you see, don't see, hear, don't hear, you know one thing. You know that what is going on is wrong, and you know that you want it to stop. Now, if I told you one of the few ways to really get this to stop is to do exactly what I am doing, is to talk publicly, is to verbalize everything, as Cryon Book 1 says. When you're in the process of creating manifestation with a group leader and people following the group leader, verbalize everything. So I state, I would like to hold meetings in my apartment and maybe switch off to other people's apartments. I would like to hold meetings where we discuss these different things that we've been told not to talk about, where we discuss telepathy, where we discuss telekinesis, where we discuss clairvoyance, where we teach each other these concepts and are unafraid. You think to yourself, but my phone and but the eye in the sky? So what? I was someone who said in another state from this one the same thing. Now, interesting things happened to me, but I'm still here, Treasure Planet. I'm still here. And what are we doing? We're not fighting. What we are doing is converging into groups, a little bit like San Francisco in my one video where I talk about creating San Francisco as a microcosm of what the world could be like, where we create our own groups of like-minded individuals. And I would say, oh, anyone of any type would be invited, except that I've noticed that many of the Yell don't quite have enough control over themselves to stop themselves from doing harmful things. So I know full well not to let just about anybody walk through my door at this point. Now, I suppose if someone who was a Lemurian, Arcturian type could say, oh, well, you know what, I think this person will be fine. Especially because I know Bashar, we would be hanging around as well if I did something like this. That kind of thing is possible. I just don't want strange things disappearing, reappearing, and having curses or demonic forms in them in my stuff. So what the purpose of this would be would be to strengthen all of our internal resolve. We need to get together and network. We have to actually talk about these things. We have to actually bring down. See, what we're doing is we're using a fourth density kind of mindset to talk about these things. We're not bringing them down into the third density where we live in order to actually make these things which we dream about real. We have to manifest them, make them happen here in what you can speak and hear and touch. Also, I know some people have a lot of trauma around these things, and being able to talk about these kinds of traumas helps to heal those things. Some people I know have something altered such that they feel as if they literally cannot talk about the different things that they know, or that they've been so threatened that they feel too frightened to do so. Well, if you have the courage to come around me, I can say that you will not be harmed. How I can say that, I do not know. But I do know that people who gather around me in a like mindset will become very, very, very difficult to interfere with or harm. First as a group, and then also individually. So, despite these different things that we deal with, we have the ability to not fight back, but simply descend back. Remember, ET 101 says we're not fighting anything, we're simply descending down. Now, lots of things that we've discovered, about what's going on for people in this state who knew about some things that were going on that other people in other states did not know about. There are some, I've noticed, with control issues. Now, I've noticed that some man's best friend have trust issues, major trust issues. And I've also noticed that some helium balloons have major control issues. These are things that we can work upon, and these are things that we can actually work with each other together, because I must actually give thanks to a very special woman, to two women, Loretta and Mary, who were in the lockdown psychiatric facility at Sonora Behavioral Health. Now, there were some very, very, very sadistic things that were going on over there, and at one point I almost died. They simply trampled upon rights, and because of this, I think to myself, technically yesterday, I've met my half-brother. I met my dad in some ways. I've learned a little bit about just what the heck is going on here. But you know what? As far as what the heck is going on, I can decide what the heck is going on. I can decide that I will begin to gather people together of like mind. No matter how scared you are. There's been a concept that I'm, quote, allowed to do these things, other people are not. That's not true. That's an illusion. The extent of manipulation in your environment is only what you allow. So I simply don't allow people to push me around. If I get told, go make coffee, and I don't want to make coffee, I say, no. And so in that capacity, you could say that eventually this program began to leave me alone, saying, okay, well, she's allowed to do this, she's allowed to do that, she makes us money, etc. Now, I don't get any of that money, whatever it is, but I know that there's a lot of money that goes on with my, quote, value and resistant abilities. And so I would like to impart those resistant abilities to others, and would like to invite all types. Now, first, of course, speak with different people first before allowing them to come in here. I know better than to allow random people into my house, but I believe I might put up flyers around the area. We can do things over Skype. There are all kinds of possibilities for this, because we need to start creating eventually a global network. But right now, of course, because of our issues with our phones and different telepathic issues going on around the globe, what we have to do is we start right where we live. We start with our neighbor. Love your neighbor as yourself. And so in this way, we can begin to resist. Anyone who is fond of the Cryon material would like something like this. Anyone who likes Bashar but has some control over any strange things that they might get told to do would like this sort of thing as well. And I will simply put out the intention of wanting to create something like this, of meetings to be able to actually get us to get together, to stop being frightened of one another, and to start really doing something about what is going on, of being conscious of our speech, rather than saying whatever because I'm being told to say whatever. No. Let's become conscious of our speech, and we can do this. I know that we absolutely can do this. So, special thanks to my dad, my half-brother, and to Cryon, Loretta, and Mary. Thank you all for watching this portion of Arcturian philosophy, and let us start a resistance, and we're going to have to name it partly after the Matrix. We're going to have to name it something other Zion. I've determined to name it something other Zion. So please email me arcturianphilosophy@gmail.com if you're interested in something like this, even if you are cross-country or cross-planet. Please let me know. Or any kind of communications other than that. Now, remember, I'm liable to not understand them. So, also, we need third density confirmations of what's going on in the third density. Because in order to change the third density, we have to actually change the third density, meaning, oh, I'm talking, it's the third density. So please be aware of that, and that only your fear is what holds you back. Only your fear. I sat here for hours, terrified to make this video, but I realized it's only my fear that is stopping me somehow, and I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I've gone through all of this, and look, you know what? I'm still here, I'm still alive, and I'm going to help other people stay alive throughout all of this. We can ride out these changes, and just as Cryon was prophesying or showing the potentials, that there will be groups of resistance, and his suggestion, Krista, why don't you make one of those groups? Well, I think I'm going to take that advice. Blessings to you all, and may you stand in the light of Christ.